let's talk about graphing linear inequalities in the plane with horizontal and vertical lines. Now, a quick recap on what is a horizontal and what is a vertical line. For our horizontal lines, right? A horizontal line, let me do this in a different color, would be something like this. This is the line where all the y values are the same. So this is going to be y equals some number. Just a number, no x's. Like y equals 2, or y equals 7, y equals negative 12, something like that. For vertical lines, those are the straight up and down lines where all the x values are the same. So this is going to be x equals some number, like x equals 7 or x equals negative 8. Right? So x equals some number. So it's important to know the difference between the y equals and the x equals because one's horizontal and one is vertical. These are not lines with interesting slopes. Vertical lines have no slope. Well, undefined slope rather, and horizontal lines have a slope of 0. And the way that these are graphed in the plane is slightly different than the way that you are later on going to graph lines that are in y equals mx plus b form, or even in standard form. So it deserves its own talking about. There's a few things you need to pay attention to over here. So in general, if you have an inequality symbol with no underline, that'll become a dashed line in the plane. So if you have this guy or this guy, we are looking at a dashed line. And if you have an underline, this will become a solid line in the plane. Now, with horizontal lines, you're either going to have like y greater than, or you're going to have y less than. And I do mean greater than or equal to, or y less than or equal to. In the case where you have y greater than, that means you're going to shade above. Didn't give myself much room here. And in the case of y less than, you're going to shade below. For vertical lines, if you have x greater than or x greater than or equal to, you're going to shade to the right. And if you have x less than or x less than or equal to, you're going to shade left. So let's see this in action, because I don't feel like it makes as much sense until you've seen it in action. All right, so we have y is greater than 7. Y is greater than 7. I'm going to plot this line, so I'm going to go to y equals 7, which is, here's the y-intercept for that. Nope, that's not true. Here's the y-intercept for that. And I'm going to draw a dashed line because there's no underline. Right? There's no underline, so that is a dashed line, no underline here. And then it's greater than, which means we're shading above, right? So we want the y values that are greater than 7 to be shaded. So that's going to be shading up here. And you're done, that's it. Let's do another. So here we have x is greater than or equal to negative 5. So for my line, I'm going to go to x equals negative 5. That's right here. This is going to be a vertical line, so it's just the whole line where the x values are 5. And we have an underline here, which means that we are going to draw a solid line. So there's that line there. We want to shade the x values that are greater than negative 5. So that's going to be to the right. Getting lazy with my shading. There we go. Beautiful. That's it. It's done. If you have x less than 2, go to 2 on the x-axis, This is a vertical line. There's no underline on our inequality symbol, so this is going to be a dashed line. And then we're shading the x values that are less than 2. So that's going to be these guys over here. And it actually it points in the direction that you should be shading. So it says shade to the left. And then over here, it said, hey, it points to the right way that you shade over here. Yes, that's correct. Beautiful shading. And that's it. It's done. So we'll just do one more for super good measure here. Y greater than or equal to -3. So I'm going to -3 on the y-axis because it's y. And then I'm going to draw a line at y equals -3. There's an underline, which means it's going to be a solid line. And it's a greater than symbol, which means that we are going to be shading above this line. And that's it. You're done. So later on, you're going to be looking at lines that are in y equals mx plus b form. But when it's just a horizontal or vertical line, this is all you're looking for. This is all that you're doing, right? Not super bad. You guys got this. Believe in yourself. That's all there is for this topic.